in a previous Witch Doctor roster. So I have an idea of the likes of Solo as a mid laner and Scorpius as a support, how good they are, what they can do in a game when they get the job done right. So I'm definitely interested to see what they pull out in terms of their draft. One thing I do know about Solo is he does not like to get defense. So I'm gonna see how this does play out for him as a mid laner. But looking at the ban situation of this draft, we do see Walker was the first ban that came out from 19-year-old boomers, with Finn being the first ban coming out from Baby Sharks, followed by Silver Nail. So still no Anka, still no Yates. But let's see what the second ban is going to be coming out from Baby Sharks, and quite rightly so. Good choice. It is the one and only Anka that has been banned by Baby Sharks, but it leaves the likes of Lorelei, Yates, Arden to be picked up, and the 19-year-old boomers pick up Lorelei. Not a bad choice.
Not at all. Leaving open that Yates and Arden, but I think just the flexibility and the power of Lorelei as potentially a mid laner or as a roam, I completely agree with that choice. I also want to point out, I know an altar, and I've played with Fear Poseidon. I've actually taken quite a few losses of Elo at the hand of Fear Poseidon and Scorpius trying to climb up. If you're someone who looks at the top 100, these are names that you've probably seen a couple of times. These are some of the top players in North America right now, top 50, top 20 at some points. Fear Poseidon, such a baller.
Indeed, and also one thing to point out, though, that is really interesting that came out from 19-year-old boomers is they banned the Silver Nail, but they didn't pick up the Yates. And I definitely find it interesting because Yates is kind of countered by Silver Nail somewhat. So therefore, not picking up the Yates and banning the Silver Nail, I think it's a little bit risky, as we did see that Yates was picked up by Baby Sharks. But either way, looking at the rest of the draft so far, it has been a second and third pick coming out as Adagio and Lance. And Adagio is, in my opinion, quite underrated. If it's going to be a top lane, Adagio is actually underrated. Shmushu, and I've played her as a top. I played him as a top lane quite a bit recently, and he does do chunks out a lot of damage with that DPS and with the high grade and the likes of the Gift of Fire and the buff that comes out on his natural pit. But either way, the rest of the draft so far has been Anka followed by Arden. This Baby Sharks draft, Inara, Anka, Yates, Arden, I really like it. It's going to provide a lot of engagement, a lot of frontline push, especially in the early stages of this game, onto 19-year-old boomers who followed up with a Baron. Interesting, but I feel a little bit risky, and an Idris. Now, Idris, I do like the Idris that has been picked up. You have a Lance, you have the slow coming out from the Lorelei, and the engagement from late game Baron could allow Idris to really scale up and become very effective, but has been directly, I wouldn't say countered, but Reza has been picked up by Sharks. I love their draft. I really love
this. Is a fantastic draft. Absolutely. Notice Unalter getting on a very strong comfort pick on this Maline. Watch him do some work. I like what you're saying about Adagio. Very much an underrated hero in this patch in particular, I would say, not just as a top laner, but because of, as we talked about in the last round, the removal of this 2-3 support hero composition that you're seeing. You see someone with like a Lyra, someone with an Adagio, and they pick up a capacitor plate. All of a sudden, you've got a lot more healing on your team. So it'll be interesting to see if that's going to be a roam Lance, or is it a roam Lorelei? Either of those players could be in a mid lane or in a jungle. I like both of these drafts. I think it's going to be a very fresh, unique, and exciting match that we have going on between two pretty great teams, and we are underway.
So it seems like it's going to be a top lane Lorelei, which I don't disagree with. Coming out as a jungle Lance, coming out from left Spectres, I do like that. And then we're going to see that support Adagio with the mid lane Baron, which is definitely going to be hard for as we do see a bit of an early engagement coming out from 19-year-old boomers, but Maline countering hard. And like I said, the early game definitely going over to Baby Sharks to begin with, because Baron on a CP mid lane position really needs to scale up even more than the likes of Scarf. Shmusha.
Yeah. That looks like to be a CP Baron in the mid lane, just as you were saying. One of the things we didn't talk too much about so far is we do have Inara, Vainglory's newest hero in this game. Gotta love seeing your teammate with an Inara just because her ultimate, on top of everything else that she can provide to a composition and to a kit, is just so deadly, dangerous, and powerful. Stratosphere is taking a little bit of damage right here from Left Spectre's and Glass Ceiling, but she will be able to get away at this time. No sweat off her forehead right now. Ooh, another thing I was thinking about Adagio while I'm still on that thought, before things start to get a little bit sweatier, still has the longest range in all of Vainglory.
That is definitely true, and that's an interesting point because that gift of fire will become a little bit effective, but we do see Clay maybe get a little bit caught out with
yeah, he's gonna go down here. All three able to jump in on that. Can't really get away from a Reza and an Inara, let alone add an Arden to that mix.
Add an Arden to that mix. But either way, I also want to talk about this. Reza is going to be as Glass Ceiling. Could be hit against that glass ceiling and he could crack and lose his life, but let's see what happens because his strategy is going to look to survive as much as possible. But, you know, with Strat and Fear Poseidon, it's going to be a bot lane weapon power Reza. Like we talked about that before the start of the last series. We're seeing Reza being played in the weapon position, and I know that Fear Poseidon has played that weapon Reza before and made it quite effective. Plus, with the Inara, makes complete sense because that's going to be a lot of dive. Like I talked about, the early game, their really hard engagement potential is going to be very dangerous in the first 10 to 12 minutes, but they've got to make it count. They've got to get in there. They've got
big damage. Big damage coming up in the mid lane. Oh, Glass Ceiling goes down to Arden. Arden's the roam this game, and he just took out the first person. Left Spectres has been missing a couple more roots. You gotta be better than that. Unaltered doesn't have that problem. Getting Naruto, Uzumaki, staying put. The Hokage's in a little bit of trouble right now. Unaltered does get rooted. Oh, big hit from Left Spectres, but Unaltered pops Flask and is able to get away from the situation for the time being. No one else is going to lose their life at this moment in that mid lane. That's 2 kills now for the side of the Baby Sharks.
Yeah, and that's to be expected. Very much to be expected. And then looking at the goal point of view. Whoa! Wow. Inara, along with the Reza, getting the kill onto the Lorelei, but it's kind of to be expected because Baby Shark have a better early game. Come Solo could be under a little bit of pressure between Chuck Norris and Left Spectres. Let's see what happens. But the Vanguard comes out.
Vanguard, he gets rooted himself. They're both going low. Chuck Norris doing a great amount of damage. Left Spectres is showing up, rotating really well in these circumstances as they do take out the Arden. Solo's trying to get away with his life, but he loses it to Left Spectres. Unalter, able to get to his own turret, not losing his life in this situation. So just when we see Baby Sharks taking 3 kills, the 19-year-old Boomers turn right around and get 2 of their own.
That's definitely not bad coming out from 19-year-old Boomers. Goal difference is actually now very similar in the first 4.5 minutes. Just a random little bit of a fact for you. Did you know that Chuck Norris does not have a chin underneath his beard? Does not have a chin underneath his beard. Just another fist. A little bit of random information for you guys. I know, it's nothing to do with Vainglory, but always feel, yeah, the more you know in this game of life.
That's right.
So to speak,
oh man.
Either way, turret has gone down on the side of 19-year-old Boomers. Going over on the side of the bottom lane with Chuck Norris and the Spectres being a little bit effective, so it's putting a bit of pressure onto Baby Sharks in the first 5 minutes of this game. The goal difference is actually gone over to the favor of 19-year-old Boomers, which is definitely interesting as Rare Shots has now arrived, and it seems that Baby Sharks are going to return the favor by getting that top lane turret for themselves. And now we do see 3-man mid lane situation for 19-year-old Boomers.
Yeah, I do want to point out, you talked a little bit about the difference between the amateur and the challenger level. You were very gracious, and I'm sure everyone appreciates that. Oh, we got so much damage coming out. Glass Ceiling, is he going to get cracked by Fear Poseidon? And Nara, Stratosphere is going to take him down. People going low. Big stun. Could have made the difference between someone losing their life or saving it. Everyone on Baby Sharks is pretty low at the moment, with the exception of Solo and Fear Poseidon. They're trying to pursue Clay, but Clay is going to slip away. not even with the river, gets to safety. But to
yeah,
I just wanted to point out that the jungle and the jungler and the bot laner for both of these challenger level teams have been rotating so well that their respective bot lane push turrets went down so much more quickly than we were seeing in these other matches before. We got a lot of damage going out in the mid lane. Chuck Norris using that beard, trying to take out Scorpius. Left Spectres does miss his impale. Some damage is going to be taken out, but you got 4 in the mid lane. Are they rotating to the CP buff? Are they rotating to Ghost Wing? We'll see. Or are they going to this bot lane? Oh, they're just shopping at this point.
Yeah, no,
the action.
It's not safe to go for Ghosting right now, especially for 19-year-old boomers, because realistically their early game is slightly going in the favor. And Baby Shark's not to take away what 19-year-old boomers are doing, at least right now when we're looking at the itemization. Chuck Norris now has a start play, but with the
Scorpius going on the Left Spectres. Left Spectres gets caught in a really bad situation, and Norris shows up out of nowhere. Does a ton of damage. Scorpius is low. Naruto Uzumaki getting his heal from this Adagio and popping Flask as well. He's able to escape with his life. Man, there's just some non-stop action this game, Imperium. What do you make of this so far?
Yeah, it's a little bit... I'm not going to say it's a little bit fractured, but we've got to give credit to Fear Beside and getting the kill onto Lorelei in the top lane. Now we're seeing a little bit of a split push between Solo and Strat, getting the work done between the Yates and the Inara in that bottom lane all the while. Baron is still waiting to get to the late stages of this game because he has not got a full tier 3 item, so that's going to be a little bit interesting with these two Spectres missing that Impale, and now Baby Sharks are going a little.
You got 4 bodies, glass ceiling getting pulled by Solo. Scorpius has been low for the past minute and a half, it seems, but he don't care. He doesn't think they can touch him. Left Spectres did miss that Impale, but not the next one. Unalter's been so good at avoiding all of these Impales coming out from Left Spectres. So comfortable, so confident on this Valine. People are going to back out, go home. 6-2 kills.
But this is why I'm not actually a huge fan of the Lance Jungle pickup. I know he's quite strong, but the reason why I'm not too much of a fan is because when you have the likes of the Inara, Reza, even Yates, I'm not going to say they directly counter him, but it's very easy to dodge an Impale. And it's very easy to get away from his engagement. And with a Lance, because, you know, the way he works, yes, you have the Githian wall, but that Impale is a start of it. You miss an Impale, you really miss the hard engagement, as you do see the Iron Cannon has been dropped out. So definitely, I think it's not helping 19-year-old boomers in the team fight situations with the Lance on the Left Spectre. But let's see what he can do. It could just be that clutch Impale that really causes 19-year-old boomers as a 5-man team to win a team fight, because we are 9 minutes into this game. The goal difference is about, well, it's actually
almost dead even, yeah.
It's dead even. I thought it was a little bit, you know, further in the favor of Baby Sharks, but 19-year-old boomers keeping in them. Like I said, itemization. Naruto has now got that first tier 3 item, which is a Shatter Glass. I think as Chuck Norris trying to get that turret, let's see what can happen, or trying to keep that turret alive, but he's going to lose his life in the process.
Fear Poseidon taking down Clay, but he's got 3 from the side of the 19-year-old boomers coming after him. Rez is so slippery, so sneaky. Ultimate over the wall fails, but here comes Yates. Is it going to be enough? They do manage to stop the glass ceiling from that verse of judgment. Solo making enough room for Fear Poseidon to slip away, and Stratosphere, oh, so quick, so dangerous. They all escape with their lives.
Did you know that's the second time Solo on the Yates has stopped the versus Judgment on the Adagio? Second time.
Stratosphere going really low. Big ion cannon coming down. Solo's low as well. Unalter, healthy as a clam. Here comes Scorpius. Will they be able to get... Oh, a big block from Left Spectres. Loses his life, but that Githian wall setting Scorpius away, so that ultimate doesn't trap his entire team, was so clutch. Way to dive on the grenade, my friend. Unalter's pursuing. Naruto Uzumaki is low. Glass ceiling is low as well. Big CP buff damage coming out from Unalter with that Shatter Glass. Oh, he's going deep. He don't care about no turret. Naruto Uzumaki jump jets. Oh, Porcupine Cannon takes out Unalter. Are you kidding me? Big damage from Baryon. Will Scorpius lose his knife? No, he does use a Vanguard onto Solo to escape through the wall. Oh my goodness. So much excitement, Imperium.
Well, because level 8, Porcupine Mortar... Wait, actually, no.
Big left Spectres impale onto Yates. Oh, you called it earlier. Fear Poseidon does split push and take another turret in that situation, though. Man, you can't take your eyes off of anything this match, Imperium. I tell you what.
No, man, this is all happening. Fear Poseidon now once again trying to get in the way and actually being that slippery, slimy resident that he is, getting the work done. And now we do see an engagement in mid lane.
Stratosphere does lose his life to Chuck Norris, punching him with the beard. Oh, so much damage. An Altar taking so much damage. He doesn't seem to have any defense. Oh, Chuck Norris with the double kill. Oh my goodness. Jesus might walk on water, but I tell you what, Chuck Norris can swim through land. So much damage. As we do have Left Spectre diving onto Solo and Fear Poseidon. Glass Ceiling taking a hit from the turret, but if someone's going to be taking a hit from the turret, you want it to be him. Left Spectre's now with that spell sword and a little bit of damage, trying to do much. Solo trying to pull, but he misses the stun as well. Stratosphere taking up the damage as they start to disengage. Man, we're 10-7, and it looks like the 19-year-old Boomers have taken this gold lead as well. Imperium, it's crazy, it's fun.
19-year-old Boomers have hit puberty. They've grown a pair of balls as a 5-man team, and they're getting to late stages of the game.
Oh, but down goes Solo! Down goes Solo! Left Spectre uses that Githian wall once again to say, nah, Scorpius, you can't come here. Stratosphere loses his life. Left Spectre goes down as well. Clay's pretty low. Glass Ceiling's pretty low. He does lose his life to Fear Poseidon, picking up his 5th kill with no deaths. Double kill for an Altar. So much damage. 3 down on the side of the 19-year-old Boomers. 2 down on the side of the Baby Sharks. What are they going to do with this life advantage at this time? What do you think?
They're not going to be able to do much, but like I was saying, 19-year-old Boomers, they're starting to hit their power spikes. Yes, they've, even we're seeing Naruto, he's still only got 2 tier 3 items, which is a Shattered Glass Clockwork, but we're starting to see that really become effective. Same with Chuck Norris, he's only got Sourblade Breaking Point, but that damage, that engagement damage, is actually kind of getting the better kind of the Inara and the Reza at this stage of the game. The only thing is that he has to stay with the rest of his team to really support Naruto quite effectively, because we saw in the last team fight, outside of when it was a kind of a full even man team fight, the Baron and the Idris really well together.
An Altar almost deletes Naruto Uzumaki's so quickly. Here comes the verse of Judgment. An Altar does have a reflex block, but Left Spectres, it's like he heard us talking about his roots, and he's like, I'ma land all of them now. Fear Poseidon will split push and take a turret. Scorpius is getting low as Left Spectres is trying to get on to him, but he doesn't seem like he'll be able to take him out at this point in time.
Okay, 19-year-old Boomers, they're at man advantage. They've got to initiate either a team fight or get the Black Claw deal, because it's only 5 seconds before the lane can go up, and the lane can be notoriously good at securing an objective away from the enemy team. So this is 19-year-old Boomers' time to...
As does Solo on this Yates. Naruto Uzumaki is going solo. He loses his life to Fear Poseidon. Scorpius is low. Clay about to go down, and he does. That is 2 kills to none. Make that 3 kills to none as they do take out the Glass Ceiling. Maybe a little bit of a crack at this point as they are splitting between the Black Claw and the last remaining members of the 19-year-old Boomers at this time. Left Spectres trying to make something happen, trying to keep his team in this situation. Black Claw starting to get really, really low. Taken. Unleashed.
Chuck Norris, what are you doing?
What you doing, Chuck Norris? Oh!
Like, I know his tears can cure cancer, that's why he doesn't cry, but you cannot take a 5v1 situation team fight in Vainglory. You can't do that. So that is Black Claw being secured quite effectively by Baby Sharks. And I do hope, by me saying Baby Shark all the time, that nobody suddenly dives into the do team. I do apologize, but that is the name of their team. They've obviously done it for a reason. But either way, this is the engagement coming out.
Oh my goodness. Left Spectre is doing a great job of just keeping his Naruto Uzumaki alive. Black Claw's getting really low. They do take 2 turrets so far. So much damage onto this last tier turret. It looks like the Baby Sharks are gonna leave Black Claw to die, which is kind of a smart move. Maybe go take some jungle dominance, go reshop, get ready for this next big push. Man.
And in my opinion, in this, and I very rarely say this in the 3.8 top lane, Chuck Norris, what are you doing, my friend?
Oh, he got pulled by the Yates. Solo is being so on point. Maybe he's acting so high right now, higher than the sky with all of this top tier playing. Chuck Norris and Glass Ceiling look to poke around, see if they can get themselves into a good situation. Big Porcupine Mortars coming out, but down will go Clay yet again. So much damage, so much death. Chuck Norris taking another double kill before he loses his life to an Alter. Solo caught in a bad position, surrounded by 3 members of the other team. Tripicide and Alter are going to go take the healing treant before they get back into this engage. A big pull on to the Adagio. Will Left Spectres lose his life? Adagio will. They're pursuing Fear Poseidon so quick. An Alter with the root. Big root from Left Spectres will probably save Naruto Uzumaki's life, but it does cost him his own. 3 alive on the Baby Sharks, and overall 4 died for the side of the 19-year-old Boomers, but they're not going to be able to take Ghostwing out of the situation either.
Yeah, like the dangerous Chuck Norris actually did such an effective job, considering the whole of the 19-year-old Boomers team was actually very much split up in that Ghostwing area engagement. It felt a little bit scattered from their point of view, whereas Baby Sharks were a lot more united as a 5-man team. What really, like I said, what really kept 19-year-old Boomers alive was Chuck Norris getting the kills onto a couple of members of 19-year-old Boomers and really being a menace. Looking at the itemization, we do see Chuck Norris has got Sour Blade, Breaking Point, and Tornado Trigger. It's surprised no Poison Shiv has come out from Chuck Norris, or even anything like Spellfire on the side of Naruto. So there's no real, kind of elongated damage. And we talked about, and you mentioned how Spellfire is really so effective in the 3.8 meta. And I was going to touch on it before we had a team fight. In my opinion, in this situation, and I don't really recommend it much in the 3.8 meta, the top lane needs to have more defense. Clay has to be more sustainable against the hard engage.
But here comes a big old team fight. Verse of Judgment coming out, as well as the big ultimate from Arden. Chuck Norris is going to be the first victim in this team fight, followed by Glass Ceiling. Adagio going down. Naruto Uzumaki has been taken out the sky by Fear Poseidon, sniped him with all that weapon damage. Solo with the big pull on Left Spectres. You can't get us out of this situation, my friends. An Ultra might lose his life right here to the Vein Crystal and the turret, but he doesn't. He gets away.
Wait. What are you doing, guys? Why are you going for Ghostwing? Go for Black Claw. I don't think you can get both at the same time. I kind of don't get why you're going for Ghostwing. Maybe because they feel a little bit confident they're going to try and play safe for the next teamfight engagement. But in my opinion, because any mistake at this stage of the game, when you're up in the kind of the challenger bracket, level of play and kind of the higher skill cap, Shmushu, any mistake can cause, especially 90 minutes in the game, can cause the enemy team to get well back into the game. And yes, the Ghostwing provides that buff and gives you an advantage to the 5v5 team fight situation. Unless, Baby Sharks are feeling very, very confident of their position and the map control.
They should be right now. They seem to have a sniff of the 19-year-old Boomers. They've got that Ghostwing buff. Yeah, I feel like they have every right to be confident right now. Like Fear Poseidon 10-0 and 11 on this weapon. But you are right. Everyone at the top tier, everyone at the challenger level is so dangerous. If you give them an inch, they'll bleed you out, man.
Whereas, Chuck Norris, you need to be with the rest of your team. I'm all for pushing away, but come on, you have to stay together as a 5-man team. This is now going to be the clutch. Fear Poseidon going in.
This could be it. Crucible popped really early. Glass Ceiling will be able to get out that Burst of Judgment, but for what? His team wasn't even there. big damage coming out as the separation from the CC is coming out. People are starting to get low. Water Wall Clay used onto himself. Oh my goodness, Naruto Uzumaki's trying to stay with his life. Fear Poseidon dies for the first time. Clay dies for the ninth. And Nara's going to lose her life as well, as does Glass Ceiling, followed by the Arden. That's 3 alive. 3 alive for the side of 19-year-old Boomers. Oh! They take out another one, and they didn't have the Ghost Wing buff. You were absolutely right. They probably should have gone for the Black Claw in that situation. They still have Ghost Wing. Oh, an Altered! An Altered taking out Chuck Norris! Who are you? So much damage coming out of this Maline. And look, just 3 offensive items going after Naruto Uzumaki. Will he be able to catch the Hokage? I don't know. No Nine-Tailed Fox is going to save you right now, Baron. Oh, but Unaltered does finally give up chase. Oh my goodness.
Okay. By the way, and yes, thank you for it. I hate to say I told you so. I know Unaltered saved that for Baby Shark, but like I said, any team fight engagement, any team fight win for the enemy team gets them right back into the game. But what saved it for 19-year-old Boomers was that clutch 3-man stun Gideon wall by left Spectres allowed Naruto to get away and chunk out the team with those kind of with the porcupine mortar. So really great play coming out from left Spectres and 19-year-old Boomers as a 5-man team. Now there's a bit of a split coming out from Baby Sharks. Could this be 19-year-old Boomers' chance to get back into this game? They are going down.
They catch up on Ultra right here. So much damage coming on to Chuck Norris, but they have the man advantage. Unalter's going solo from Naruto Uzumaki. Fear Poseidon's going to come in and slip him around. Down goes Naruto Uzumaki. Out comes the Crucible from the side of the 19-year-old Boomers. You like to have that a little bit later in the fight. Chuck Norris loses his life to Fear Poseidon, picking up his 11th kill. They've got them on the ropes. They're pulling away. They've got so much more health, but they're down 2 men in this situation, and the gold lead, not to mention the kill lead, going over to Baby Sharks. Just when you think 19-year-old Boomers are going to turn things around, something like that happens again.
Well, I don't know how Naruto ended up in the completely opposite side of the rest of his team when about 2 seconds before that they were together as a 5-man team. I'm still trying to wrap my head around it. I don't know how that happened, but that was definitely a mistake coming out from 19-year-old Boomers as a 5-man team. Because realistically, yes, the Idris is doing a lot of damage. And kind of so is Clay a little bit, but not so much. His build path, in my opinion, is absolute pants with the Dragon's Eye because we've got so much engagement.
You might need to explain that for our American audience. What does pants mean?
It's terrible, basically. It's a nice way of saying it's really bad. Because Dragon's Eye, yes, okay, you're going to be able to build up a couple of stacks with those fish food and stuff, but like I said, in my opinion, even though they've defended the Black Claw quite a kind of double weapon bar defense, but that's not enough. You need to be more team-wide. Another Crucible, even though they got double Crucible, but let's see what happens because we're going to
Chuck Norris is diving in. He's trying to take him out. Maybe it wasn't a good idea to start up Ghost Wing when you were still low. Big gauntlet from Scorpius. Here comes the Verse of Judgment. Here comes the solo ultimate. So many people are going low, but not on the side of the 19-year-old Boomers as they're taking down 1 so far. We'll see if they can get Stratosphere. Oh, but they lose Chuck Norris. Fear Poseidon. What a monster. Oh, big stun coming out on the Githian wall from left Spectres as down go 2 from each side. 3 actually on the side of Baby Sharks. And the 19-year-old Boomers have them on the ropes, and Alter will escape. Stratosphere has already gone back. They're breathing life into the situation again. What are they going to do? What can they do in this situation, Imperium, to turn things around and get a W?
Well, they can. I actually firmly believe that any team can win this. Of course, it looks like it's in the favor of Baby Sharks, and overall, team-wide, they're looking a bit more, effective. But it just takes one mistake, one cash out, one missed engagement, i.e. that gauntlet that came out from Scorpius. All credit to him, every single gauntlet up until then was on point, but that gauntlet realistically, unfortunately, really put 19-year-old boomers in a better position in a team fight, because the gauntlet didn't lock anybody down. Yes, it didn't allow any of 19-year-old boomers to really get on to Baby Sharks, but other than the Idris, none of 19-year-old boomers really want to heavily engage on the Baby Sharks. So that's why the gauntlet is actually so effective as an engagement tool for Baby Shark. So when you don't get that right, you really take it away from your team. But we're seeing the engagement as Les Spectres is nearly down to below quarter health.
Here comes Fear Poseidon. Oh, the big ultimate out from Solo again. Oh, Arden, how you gonna do that to him? He couldn't take out everybody, but he did isolate Clay with that massive gauntlet. And now they're 5 alive, 4 down on the side of the 19-year-old boomers. This could be it, as Chuck Norris, even though when he does push-ups, he's actually shoving down the entire world, he's not going to be able to take out the entire side of Baby Sharks, as they're just going to do so much damage onto this Vein Crystal. Sure, Pure Poseidon might go down here, but he doesn't. 15, 2, and 14. Weapon Reza, how do you do? Baby Sharks taking first game. Oh my goodness, Imperium. Get me a bag of oxygen and a nap. That game was exciting. One thing, Imperium, I did want to point out for those of us who are watching in the stream right now and maybe are newer to Vainglory or haven't been back in a while, things have been really reworked in the patch. You notice that the Baby Sharks had about twice as many kills as the 19-year-old boomers. However, the Gold Lead was about the same later on in the game. And so the game does look a little bit differently than it has in previous patches, and which is how we're able to have 27.5-minute games that are so sweaty and still so close.
Exactly, and that's what I love about these kind of challenger bracket games. Now, that's not to take away from the amateur bracket as well, with all due respect to them, but yeah, like I pointed out, these teams are at kind of quite generally a higher skill cap, therefore just a little bit more synergized, able to get back into a game a little bit quicker. However, we are seeing a bit of a change in roster with Shri and NECA Fury coming in for Baby Sharks. That's going to change maybe their play style, their drafting, who they look to target and focus. So I'm actually liking what Baby Sharks are doing by swapping out the players and bringing other people in. With the Baby Sharks being on the left-hand side of this second game, and 19-year-old boomers on the right-hand side of this second game in the best-of-3 series of the WTT tournament. Where's the trophy tournament? Challenger bracket. First game of this tour, first Challenger bracket series of this tournament. Thank you very much to everybody who has been involved in getting this tournament underway. All the teams that have applied and put their names out there. Everybody that's viewing the stream right now, thank you very much. And of course to my fantastic co-caster, the wonderful, the ever delightful, the ever beautiful, the ever talented and delicious Schmishman for being yes, delicious. I'm going to describe you as delicious.
I'll take it. I will take it.
Hey, you take it. But either way, we do see that Finn has been the first ban coming out from Baby Sharks, with a Lorelei being banned by 9-year-old boomers. So that's a little bit interesting. We do see that Finn has been the second ban coming out from Baby Sharks. I do like that, because that forces the anchor ban and leaves over Reza, Yates, even Arden, or even Anara to be picked up. But they pick up Silvernail. And I do like that, because maybe they're recognizing the fact that Silvernail is a counter to Yates. So if you pick up the Silvernail as first pick, even though it seems like they're hovering over the Yates, it can kind of take away from how strong Yates can be by taking that Silvernail. Wait. Oh, is this going to be another smexy CP2 we're going to see?
I'd imagine so. I'd imagine so. CP Jewel in the jungle or the top lane is something that we're loving to see in the North American meta right now. And if I can just take a little jab, make a little joke, maybe banned Lorelei as much from themselves as they did from the baby shark. Maybe they're trying to change things up just a little bit. Like, you know what? That didn't work out for us. Let's do things better this time around. You are going to see the Lance coming back out. Neko Fury, by the way, another high-tier player who has taken my elo just too many times for me to be happy about, but gotta respect the guy, absolutely. Ooh, here comes another Glaive Imperium.
From a little bit of ELO PDST. There, Shmishu, do you want to take a minute to just reflect upon,
I've been talking with my therapist about this recently. My therapist says it's okay and it's good to vent only so much, but then if you do it too much, you're just kind of a nag and, a bit of a wet blanket.
Fair enough. Anyway, continue on. We do see the Flicker being picked up by 19-year-old boomers. That's interesting because we saw Flicker being banned on both occasions in the previous series between Assert Dominance and 7K Riptide. So it's actually interesting to see him being picked up. Plus, with the Vox, which is going to be curious whether that's going to be a mid CP Vox or a bot lane weapon power Vox. And then we do see the fourth pick on the side of Baby Sharks is
Kensei.
Celeste, followed by Kensei.
Kensei.
The last time Kensei was really heavily prioritized in a draft situation. He's fallen off, should I say, quite heavily.
Oh yeah, well,
not to say he's not powerful. As a final pickup on the side of 19-year-old boomers is a Kinetic.
Very good choice coming with Kinetic in this situation. I was wondering if they were going to do something that would just tickle my elbows and my fancy by adding a Nara to a comp with Flicker, just because I love the ever so delicious idea of Flicker sending out his ultimate, that Moon Cloak, just in time for a Nara to make everyone run 100 miles an hour so they can all just show up and ambush the other team from the other side of the map without them ever being aware. But you know what? I think Kinetic overall is probably a better choice. I think we've got what seem to be my two favorite bot laners in Silvernail being played by Fear Poseidon and with Clay on this Kinetic. But Clay was top lane last game. Do you think they're going to move Clay over to the bot lane?
Well, let's see how this does play out. I do think it is going to be Clay in the bot lane on the side of 19-year-old boomers on this Kinetic side, which I think kind of makes sense because it didn't seem to fit his playstyle in top lane in the last game, as we do see that Chuck Norris has moved up, who was very effective as a bot laner. Is going to be the CP Jewel, and I don't mind the CP Jewel, although let's talk about it because we're going to see Left Spectres possibly going in with Glass Ceiling, who on the Flicker is very effective early game, has a very strong early game, but does fall off quite heavily if you don't really ramp up with the Flicker from the early game. This goes in and is rooted by this Lance Shmishu.
Yeah, he's going to be able to pull away for the moment. Shui's not doing too much damage, and I think he still has his flask. They're going to be all right as people go over towards their separate CP buffs. We might see an altar on this Glaive come and try to steal that CP buff, but he does not, as the 19-year-old boomers take their respective CP buff and the baby sharks take their respective baby buff. Wow. Ooh. CP buff as well. Oh, so much damage coming out onto Chuck Norris from Fear Poseidon on this Silvernail. Those double shots already doing a good amount of damage, even with just a Book of Eulogies and a Weapon Blade early on in the game. Jewel's got to be careful. Don't get shot in the butt. You've got plated armor on the front.
Don't get shot in the butt. That is something that I never thought I'd hear being said. That's absolutely fantastic. But no, it's true, because with that front plated armor, Jewel is actually far more effective being kind of frontline and kind of really not turning your back to the enemy team. So you're dead on with that. And I do like the fact that Glass Ceiling has rotated up this mid lane to support Naruto in this CP box, because it's interesting because 19-year-old boomers have a bit of a late game comp, or they have an actually slight even scaling comp between early and mid game if they play it right. Because Yates is decent on the early game, so is Flicker. Kinetic is kind of evenly scaling, but then as you get into the mid to late game, you're going to see Naruto come into his own in the CP box, and you're going to see the Jewel, come into his own, and against the Silvernail, I actually don't mind. I like
lots of damage coming out of the glass ceiling. He does go down. Shui on the Celeste taking the first blood. It was solo on Kensei who caught the glass ceiling flicker out in the bush. He was camoed. He thought he was safe. And then the big impale from Neko Fury saying, nah, you stay put. Well, heliogenesis from Celeste. And honestly, if you're on that comp, Celeste is who you want getting that first blood.
Yes, exactly, because first blood, okay, it's not the most important thing in the world from a goal point of view, but it definitely doesn't hurt. And by the way, I want to point out that solo on the top lane Kinetic has got minion candy.
Yes.
We don't talk much about the likes of minion candy, but minion candy can be very important in just, you know, elongating the top lane push when you are top laning and really kind of protecting yourself a little bit more. It's just a nice investment in gold and allows your team to kind of maybe secure the opposite lane a little bit clearer, a little bit easier. So I really like what
a lot of bodies together up in this top lane. A lot of bodies in this top lane. Left Spectre's going low. Celeste is already doing so much damage. Took that 500 gold to use very, very quickly. Oh, Solo gets pulled by Left Spectres. Does he escape with his life? He's got boots. He's trying to get away from the Uzumaki, the Fox. It looks like Solo will be able to escape this time as Neko Fury will rotate around. Big Impale says, you leave my swordsmen alone at this time. People are going to keep their lives when I thought Solo was about to lose it there for sure.
That was a great disengagement coming out, because in some way the team of 19-year-old Brewers was a little bit split up. It just allowed Solo to get away a little bit easier. And Kinetic is a fantastic play coming out from an Alter to get the Afterburn onto Naruto, but not quite securing a kill for himself. But yeah, Chuck Norris just needs to play safe, looking at kind of 4.5-5 minutes of this game. The goal lead is very much in the favor of Baby Sharks. They're about 3k gold in the lead, and that does say a lot. That does make a difference when we look at the CS point of view. Naruto's on 34 as River Shops have arrived, and Shree's on 39. When we look at the respective bot lanes, we do see Clay is on 25 and Fear Poseidon is on 38, so that's quite a big difference. Clay needs to kind of get to that late game either at the same time or actually quicker than Fear Poseidon. Otherwise, Baby Sharks will really ramp up quite effectively into the late game and stop 19-year-old Boomers getting on as Neko Fury gets the job done.
Ooh. Celeste picking up another kill. I'm going to point out Fear Poseidon just shopped for the first time. We'll see if Chuck Norris on this Jewel is going to be prepared for this big power spike, as he may or may not rotate back down. He had 3,000 gold when he finally shopped. But yeah, Clay able to make a little bit of an adjustment to that gap, as you were just talking about, and able to get a little bit of a push onto this top lane at this time. I think it's important to point out that that last game, you were talking about the importance of having the A-side draft and that advantage. As Clay might lose his life right here to Neko Fury and to Solo. Solo should be able to use another ability to get on there, and it is Neko Fury taking this out. Also, they do have a minion candy, so they'll be able to probably even leave and let this turret go down, but they're going to secure that turret. What do you think about all this right now, Imperium?
Hey, look, that's just nice rotation coming out from Neko Fury to catch out Clay with no lack of support and knowing where they are in the rest of the map. The turret has gone down, so it's really good play coming out from Baby Sharks. As you do look at the itemization, Shree's gone for Dragon's Eye first item. Don't agree with it, but let's see how it does out.
Flicker goes down. Chuck Norris starts to stealth away a little bit and uses the big red button. Maybe should have thought about getting out of the situation entirely. Big red button revealed his situation. He barely did any damage to Fear Poseidon and Alter in that situation. Instead, he goes down and probably loses his turret here, Imperium.
Like, this is how bad of a situation 19-year-old Boomers are in. The top laner is the only hero that has a full tier 3 item. That should not be the case. That should never really be the case. The top laner should be the last person to really have a full tier 3 item. To be perfectly honest, so realistically, the rest of 19-year-old Boomers need to get their act together. because they're down in gold, they're down on kills, they haven't got any kill at all, they're down in gold by about 8k. This is them falling apart in the second game. Yes, they might have a slight bit of a later game with Chuck Norris and with Clay, but if you don't give yourself a chance to get that late game, you become essentially a potato.
Of Clay, he gets caught in a bad position here. Well, they are in a 3v2. Oh, big solar storm coming out from Shui. Gonna do so much damage. Will Clay go down here? That's a Fountain of Renewal coming out, but that is for the side of the Baby Sharks. Fox's ultimate is gonna try to say, hey, wait for it, but it doesn't seem to do too much. Glass Ceiling might lose his life here as well as Shui. He's going to be able to finish up that clockwork, and with a Spellfire, that very important item that we talked about even in the last round, Imperium, this Celeste is going to start running away with the show.
Definitely, as we do see nice rotation coming out from Fear Poseidon along with Unaltered to get a good chunk of damage on that mid lane turret, as the rest of the Baby Sharks team were getting the job done, not quite connecting with that Impale.
Naruto Uzumaki in a little bit of trouble. Glass Ceiling's going to show up and slow them all down. Say, wait a minute. Neko Fury taking turret damage. Big Mooncloak coming out. Will they use this to escape? Or will they use it to get kills? Solo's getting low. Solar Storm coming out from Shui. And another Heliogenesis is going to take out Glass Ceiling's life yet again. Shui says, I see your Glass Ceiling, and I'm a strong, independent woman. I'm getting my pay rates. I'm getting my money. Here comes Clay trying to force Shui to leave the situation. Core Collapse is going to miss. They're going to back off at this time. But Shui's turret's taking no damage in this mid lane. And Baby Boomer, the 19-year-old Boomers, they're about lost this mid lane turret at about 9.5 minutes. Imperium, is there any chance for them to come back?
Well, yeah, there kind of is, because realistically, when you look at the goal difference and the itemization difference...
Down goes Yates, I'm going to cut you off. They do take out Fear Poseidon. It looks like they'll be able to get an altar as well, but he does get a double kill before he goes. Is Glass Ceiling going to be able to do enough damage to this blade? No, he's got the afterburn. And meanwhile, we've got some stuff going on in the top weapon jungle. The Baby Sharks did take that weapon buff as well.
Shmoo. Baby Sharks are 11k gold ahead. You look at the itemization differences. Fear Poseidon is on Sourblade, nearly on Tension Bow. Shri's on Dragon's Eye Clockwork. Solo's on Sourblade. We see Unalter's on Sourblade. They're realistically items and damage ahead. They should be going for Ghostwing. We're 10 minutes, nearly 11 minutes into this game. They're so far ahead in gold itemization and team fight win. They can go for the early game Ghostwing as quickly as possible. Either force a team fight or secure the Ghostwing and then do the same thing. They've got map control. They need to be doing that. They can't just rotate the waves, because you saw in the last game, if you do give a team like 19-year-old Boomers a chance to get back into the game, they will do their best to do so. So Baby Sharks, you need to recognize the huge gold lead that you have, realistically the itemization lead that you have, and play on that and push 19 Boomers to the brink of destruction.
And they are doing that right now. They're all gathered towards this bot lane. They're going to take out Glass Ceiling, who, by the way, at 10 minutes 22nd, finally purchased Fountain of Renewal. 19-year-old Boomers are a little bit disheveled, but they still have an opportunity to come back. They were getting their lane priorities pushing as that built up, and they are going to go on to Ghostwing. Maybe they heard us talking, but I doubt it. These are high-level players. They don't need to. They know what they need to do to go ahead and take this. I like to say, if you've got them down, just keep your foot on their neck. Keep the foot on the gas and just take the win while you can. Don't give them any opportunity.
Exactly. You got to be able to, as the Spellfire with the big red button does come out, connects a little bit to Fear Poseidon. Yeah, you've got to snowball a game so much, because yes, even though the game is a little bit harder to snowball than it has been in previous patches, that's very much
Left Spectres was able to steal this weapon buff. We've gotten engaged, but they're kind of out of position. Clay is going pretty down low to Solo. Unalter does take out Left Spectres. Clay loses his life as well. Ghostwing buff is still active, so they're getting health regen. They're going to head back towards this mid wave and clear it a little bit and then push. Maybe go on to Black Claw. They've got options. They've got everybody alive. They've got a 13k gold lead. Make that 14k gold lead as they start up Black Claw. This game could be over in the next 6 minutes.
It's not going to be lasting too much longer. Fear Poseidon is an item and a half ahead of play. The respective bot laners. You look at the laner Shui is again an item and a half ahead of Naruto.
And
Solo is goods of an item ahead of Chuck Norris. This is Baby Shark's game to lose at the end of the day. Shmushu, it speaks for itself. There's no real hyping involved. It's just Baby Sharks need to run with what they have and secure this game as quickly as possible. And this is what they're at least trying to do. Is some way split pushing. Let's see what they can do with the Dragon Bear down in the mid lane.
It will take a hell of a throw for them to lose this game. I'm not going to lie to you. If they throw this, NFL scouts are going to be calling for them, because what an arm that would take, as they are finally off of their Ghost Wing buff. So much damage coming out as Lance picks up a kill. That's one down for the side of the 19-year-old Boomers, as they've lost all their turrets in the mid lane. Are the Baby Sharks going to back off? Are they going to poke and see what's happening? That armory is halfway down. Split pushing is happening. They took a top lane turret. They're threatening to take a bottom lane turret. Blackclaw is still alive, still thrashing at this armory. Armory has just the smallest sliver of health left, Imperium. 15k gold feels bad. They're gaining a K a minute on this 19-year-old Boomers team.
But then again, at the end of the day, actually, them not securing the armory isn't necessarily a bad thing, because
not
when
all,
they do, because the second you secure an armory, I believe it's a 200-second time frame before that respawns. I'm not exactly sure the respawn time. I should know, to be perfectly honest, but either way, there is a time limit before that respawns. So them not taking it out isn't necessarily the worst thing in the world. Plus, with all due respect, they're so far ahead, they don't need to take it straight away. That's why they didn't really push it any further. They didn't lose any lives, and they just maintained their momentum. They're now still starting to engage, as they are realistically. All 5 members are on the side of 19-year-old Boomers map, and they're now going to look to take Ghost Wing. They can easily either take it, or they can secure a team fight around the area. There's nothing, and I mean pretty much nothing, other than the sweet baby Jesus miracle of life that can really keep 19-year-old Boomers in this game. I hate to say it, I don't want to be too defeated, because it's not over to the Vein Crystals down, but this is one of the biggest, harshest leads I've ever seen in a Vainglory game in the last couple of patches, and Baby Sharks are really making it their own. However, is this Fear Poseidon caught out?
Fear Poseidon's really, really slow, but he's got so much damage, and he's got a little bit of sustain coming out from his, he does lose his life, but he almost took out 2 in a 2v4. Meanwhile, his team, they're ready to reposition and get back on it. However, the Boomers, 19-year-old Boomers, were able to recall before they lost their lives. I wanted to point out a little bit before the Baby Sharks took Ghost Wing. 19-year-old Boomers did use a Moon Cloak, that ultimate from the Flicker, and they were coming out, and Neko Fury was a little bit caught out, and they did have an opportunity to maybe collapse on him all at once, but Glass Ceiling jumped the gun a little bit early, and so Neko Fury was able to escape. And so, yeah, sure, they just picked up their second kill of the game, but they if they have an opportunity, which they might, they've got to focus, they've got to be sharp, and they can't let even the smallest advantage slip. Here comes another Mooncloak, but they're going to get spotted out by this scout camp right there over in that jungle. They are on to Celeste at this point. Big damage coming out, but bigger damage coming out from the side of the Baby Sharks as Yates is going really low. Big red button coming out. Solo is low. Left Spectre is lower. Big dive in from Solo. Does he have enough sustain? Oh, Neko Fury with a big impale and a larger solar storm coming out from Celeste. Unalter on this glaive picks up another kill. That's 2 dead for the side of the Baby Boomers. Blackclaw is on the map. Fear Poseidon's going to push a little bit, say, hey, stay away. And they're going to go onto this Blackclaw. Sure, Yates is alive. They might have an opportunity to steal this Black Claw, but is the risk even worth it at this point, Imperium?
Well, yeah, because at the end of the day, they've got nothing to lose. The game is essentially open to them. And in the last team fight, I want to give them credit as it's not quite secured by, or it's not quite stolen by left specters. No credit to them. They did a lot better work in that last game. The big red button coming out from Chuck Norris was definitely more effective, and the most effective it's been all game in the 17, nearly 80 minutes so far. But it's too little too late. And with the Black Claw bearing down, with the armory nearly about, well, actually it has gone back up to full health. But yeah, let's see what can happen.
Armory's back down to half health as, well, big red button comes out, but Black Claw still doing work. So much damage, Shui might lose his life, but out comes the fountain number new. Armory's back down to half health as, well, big red button comes out, but Black Claw still doing work. So much damage, Shui might lose his life, but out comes the fountain number new at a very, very good time. Solar Storm just eliminates Kinetic. Oh, feels so bad. That's one of those things when you're playing Celeste, you love to see Fear Poseidon takes out Jewel and Flicker. Down goes another turret, because why not? You're Kensei. Left Spectre is the only one left alive, watching his nation crumble into shambles. Like the Revolutionary War just ended. And the baby Sharks have taken it 2-0, 18.5 minutes, 23-2, 20K gold lead.
Just like Bruce Lee got the better of Chuck Norris in, I think, the Red Dragon. Actually, maybe I'm failing on the name of the film, but either way,
you need to know Vainglory, not